Okay, so here's our next problem, and it's actually pretty straightforward. If I hit this outlane 500 and add bonus, switch is dead. Nothing happening at all. This switch is dead. Let's hit a couple rollovers. In fact, let's hit them all. Then if I push a star rollover, I should get 500 and add bonus. Those are dead too. Let's try the drop targets. Drop targets are dead. Double bonus lights. There's no bonus on here. Let's see what happens. Nothing. So what's the problem here? So take a look right here. There's a wire with a piece of tape on it. That is the coil lead for power to the D relay. The D relay is the add 500 and bonus. So when it's gone, anything that says 500 points won't work. We're going to see more of that 500 function. Yeah, I was going to do a series of problems with this D relay with various switches. I still might do a little bit of that, but that red-yellow wire right here, that actually goes back to the score motor. And so I put the D relay back together, put the wire back on, and just put paper on that red and yellow wire switch, and it does stop the score motor. It has the same symptom, but the relay is energizing. It's just that one contact is not working, and when that one contact's not working and the score motor can't go, nothing happens. And I think it's probably easier just to show it all in the schematic and try to kind of work through it rather than block each switch. So here's some motor basics. Side view of the motor, there are two discs, and then there are pegs either hanging down or up from that top disc on the motor. And you can see the motor numbering scheme is on this lower disc. There are little notches in the disc. You know, from the side view it might look like this. Something like that. But that's switches will write in those disc notches and actuate. So it's A for the bottom disc, B for the pegs hanging down from the top disc, C is that top disc, it's going to have these same notches, D has the short peg sticking up from the top motor plate, E is the tall pegs off that motor plate. Here's an explanation of the motor sequence chart. Across the top are the degrees of the score motor, 0, 15, 30, 45, etc. And then along the vertical side are each switch, 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. So that as you go in time, as you go through this thing for 120 degrees, you can see which switches are made. Now I haven't colored in all of them yet, those come later. But here you can see that for the first 15, from 0 to a little over 15 degrees, 1E, 3E, or 4E are going to be closed. You can also see that in a 120 degree segment, 1A is going to pulse 5 times. And then you can see that 3C triggers once towards the end. And you're going to see more of this. I'll fill it in more, but that's just a basic overview of how the motor sequence chart works. So here's a schematic section E5 for the D relay, and I'm showing two of the contacts here. So what happens is at some point the D relay is made, and they're on schematic, let's see, section G18, G19. There's a little switch on there for D that enables the score motor. The score motor is going to run for 120 degrees. But what happens is this motor 1A is going to pulse 5 times. And if the D relay is closed, it's going to ring off 5 100-point chimes. M is the 100-point relay. So if the D relay closes, which is add 500 and add bonus, this switch will be closed. As the motor is pulsing, or going 120 degrees and pulsing 5 times, it's going to make that M relay trigger 5 times, which will get 5 chimes and 500 score reel increments of the 100-point score reel. And then also, if motor 3C closes, and it'll close on the last motor 1A contact, If D is closed, which it would be in this case, it would trigger the add bonus unit. So what happens is you get 500 points, motor 3C closes on the last pulse of motor 1A, D is already closed, they're both closed, adds a bonus unit. Now I'm going to show the motor sequence chart. So remember on the schematic we showed 1A on the far right. I'm going to show that again. Right here. That is going to pulse 5 times in a 120 degree segment. And remember I said when the D relay kicks in, it's going to run for 120 degrees of the wheel. So as 1A hits 5 times, it's going to ring up the M relay 5 times. And then remember I mentioned 3C. I'm going to show that again. There's 3C and there's 1A. See how 1A and 3C line up at the same time. That's going to trigger the bonus and add the fifth 500 points on.